There are only two numbers that really mattered to me when I was in my 20s. The first one was $8,333, because if I made that every single month, it would mean that I would be getting $100,000 a year. The second number was $1 million, because I really wanted to have that status of knowing I'm a millionaire. And in today's video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you the number one hack that I used in my 20s to become a multi-millionaire to help me get to those two numbers so that you can too.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
The secret to your success is really gonna come down to this: creating the wildest disparagement between your income and your lifestyle. Let me explain what that means. When you are young and in your 20s, you're going to see your greatest wealth gains than you'll probably see for the rest of your life. And here's what I mean. When you're a teenager and you have a job, they pay you like a teenager. But once you're getting out of college and you get your first real adult job, I mean, the average American makes $44,000 a year. So if a college kid is making $15,000 or $20,000 a year, that's more than 100% increase in their money. Here's the number one problem though that young people make. They're so eager to be an adult, like, well, I want the house and I want the car and I want the TV and I want this stuff, that what they do is, as their income increases, guess what they do? They increase their lifestyle. And this is where I want to catch you, because if you're saying, how do I make my most wealth in my 20s? I want to introduce a couple of principles that are going to be key for you. The first one is called delayed gratification. Now, first, this doesn't sound like a lot of fun. It's like, but Kris, dude, I want that and I want that. Listen, I didn't allow myself to purchase a luxury item for the first several years that I started investing. And I became independently wealthy by the age of 26. So I'm not telling you that you have to do your parents' game plan of like, hey, I'm gonna save for 30 years. I'm gonna save for 40 years. I'm talking about make the next 5 years count. Now, how do you do that? Look at how much money you're making right now, whatever it is. And as your income increases, do not increase your expenses. Or in other words, don't increase your lifestyle. There's a law called Parkins Law. And Parkins Law essentially says that most people will spend plus or minus 10% of what they make. So here's what's crazy. You make 50 grand a year, then you're gonna spend between 45 and 55. And then you're thinking, yeah, but if I doubled my income, I would save that money. No, when you double your income, you spend between $90,000 and $110,000 a year. Yeah, but Kris, at some point you're making enough money that that's gotta stop. I'm telling you right now, if you're making $500,000 a year, you'll find a way to spend it, which is what normal people do. I'm inviting you to join me on a crusade to be anything but normal, right? We don't want mediocre results. We want to do something phenomenal and extraordinary. So here's what it means. You've got to find a way to keep your expenses as low as possible. And what you're doing is you're maximizing the amount of money that is available to actually go and invest. So here's the crazy part. This becomes a game. And this is a game that anyone in life can win at. Like what I'm teaching you right now is how you actually go from being kind of average normal to then middle class and then to the wealthy class. 5% of all people on this planet are living on what's called generational wealth, which means they're out of the middle class. They are living off of their investments. The only way that you can actually get yourself to live off of your investments is if you get investments. How do you get investments? You create the biggest disparagement between how much you're earning and what your expenses are, and you want to create a gap. Like, let me give you something crazy here to shoot for. Let's say that you have $2,000 a month of expenses, but you have $4,000 a month of income. That's 50%. There's $2,000 left over. I'm recommending that you sock all $2,000 of money that month away towards your future investing. Like for example, take real estate for example. To get in the game of real estate is kind of expensive, right? I mean, if you're gonna buy it and put a 20% down payment and you're buying in my hot markets with me, we might be buying $150,000. You might have to put $30,000 down. Kris, where do I get $30,000? By playing the game and creating that really wild disparity. So imagine that you finally get some money set aside and you buy yourself a home. Here's the goal. That home, you own it now. And it works for you day and night. And if you buy it right, that thing has the ability to pay you $50,000 back, maybe $100,000 back if you use the systems that I leverage. Think about that for a moment. So here's a different way of looking at it. ROI, return on investment. This is the way that you want to get yourself thinking. Kris, why do I want to save? Why do I want to create the biggest and deepest margin between my expenses and my income? Because you want to put that into something that gives you money back. When I put it in a house, I expect that house to earn 20% for me. That means that if I put $5 in, then every year I want to get $1 back. 5 years later, I've gotten all my money back plus my original investment. I doubled my money. Doubling your money every 5 years, what that does is you get that ball rolling and it gets moving faster and faster and it turns into a crazy snowball. That's how Warren Buffett built his wealth. That's how so many of the greats have gone out there and built their wealth. So from today's video, here's what I really want you to understand. You want to create that big disparagement and then check it out. If you're like, Kris, real estate, you telling me that you can make 50 grand or $100,000 on a property? Yes, I've been doing it for 15 years and I wrote a book about it. It's called The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth. I have never given this book away for free, and I've decided of all my books that it is time to release this to the masses. So over the years, we've moved 50,000 copies of this, and right now, if you click the link in the description below, I will send this to you, and this will show you that as you're creating that massive disparity, what you have the ability to do is now take that money and pop it into something like real estate, and here was my goal. 25 homes made me $12,000 a month, so guess what? I walked from my job and I never needed to have one again. Now I buy a home every single day and my wealth continues to grow and it's automated. I've got myself in that wealth category starting from nothing. You can do the same. And when you're 20s, it's the easiest time to do it. Just do this. Please do not make the mistake that so many do of saying, well, come on, I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to increase that lifestyle. Do that 5 years from now. Keep it on the cheap. Be smart with your money. You'll never have an easier time saving in your entire life than when you're young. You won't have responsibilities. You won't have kids. You won't have all the things that cost lots of money. So get started when you're young so that when you're 30s, you have a whole new world of possibility compared to most people who are just trying to climb out of massive debt that they've created for themselves. If you want to know the ultimate hack on how to actually make that money in real estate, it's right here. My team offers a no BS consultation. I'm talking about hard advice for people that are actually willing to take it straight and say, get me to the top of the mountain. You could be watching this video and either say, I'm too young, or I don't make enough money, or I don't got the credit, or Kris, I'm not in my 20s, I'm in my 50s. And I want you to know, I've got a team and what we do is we go into the best markets and we actually take down the very best real estate for you so you actually can skip a lot of the learning curve and actually accelerate wealth creation right now. So if you want that consultation or if you just want to get your hands on the book, it's free.